11:20. You're sitting on your couch on a Saturday night. The phone is right there, screen dark, no notifications. The TV is on, but you stopped paying attention 20 minutes ago. There's food in the fridge, but you're not hungry. You're not sad, not exactly. You're not crying, you're just still. Like something inside you quietly powered down and forgot to tell you. You think maybe you're just tired, maybe it was a long week, maybe you need more sleep. So you go to bed early, and you wake up 8, 9, 10 hours later, and somehow you feel even heavier than before. Your legs don't want to move. Your thoughts are slow. Your chest has this strange weight that you can't explain to anyone because nothing happened. Nothing is wrong, and yet your body feels like it's running on 10% battery with no charger in sight. Most people would call this laziness or burnout. Or maybe a little seasonal funk that'll pass with a good workout and some sunshine. Some might say you need more discipline, a better morning routine, a cold shower, and sure, those things can help with a lot. But here's the thing. What if the reason your body feels like it's shutting down has nothing to do with how hard you worked this week or how much sleep you got? What if it's not about discipline at all? What if your body is responding to something far more ancient, far more primal, and far more dangerous than just being tired? What if loneliness is not just something you feel, but something your body physically reacts to, the same way it would react to being wounded or starving? That's not a metaphor. That's neuroscience. In 2009, a team of researchers at the University of Chicago, led by Dr. John Cacioppo, one of the most respected social neuroscientists in modern history, published a landmark study that changed how the scientific community understands loneliness. They found that the brains of chronically lonely people behave differently at a fundamental level. Specifically, the brain of a lonely person shows heightened activity in the amygdala, the region responsible for detecting threats. Not social threats, survival threats. The same part of your brain that would light up if you heard a growl in the dark or saw a shadow move when it shouldn't. Cacioppo's research revealed something stunning. When a person feels persistently disconnected from others, the brain doesn't interpret that as a mood. It interprets it as danger. And once your brain believes you're in danger, it doesn't wait for your permission. It starts making changes to your body quietly, automatically, without you ever knowing it's happening. And before we go deeper, if this is already making something click inside your head, do me a favor. Stay until the end, because what comes next might genuinely change the way you understand your own body. Hit that subscribe button, leave a like, and let's keep going, because this only gets more fascinating from here. But here's where it gets really interesting. The psychological layer of this mechanism goes far deeper than just feeling alert or on edge. When your brain enters what Cacioppo called a hypervigilance mode due to loneliness, it begins to reshape your perception of the world around you. You start reading neutral faces as hostile. You interpret ambiguous messages as rejection. Someone doesn't text you back and your mind immediately writes a story about how they don't care. This isn't paranoia. It's a neurological shift in how your threat detection system filters incoming information. Your brain is literally biased towards seeing danger in social situations, which makes you withdraw more, which makes the loneliness worse, which makes the brain even more vigilant. It's a loop, a vicious, silent biological loop that most people never recognize because it feels like it's just who they are. Now look at the chemical layer. When your brain stays in this threat mode for extended periods, it triggers a sustained increase in cortisol, the body's primary stress hormone. A short burst of cortisol is fine, it helps you react in emergencies. But chronic elevation of cortisol does something devastating. It suppresses your immune system, it slows your metabolism, it interferes with your ability to enter deep sleep. It reduces the production of serotonin and dopamine, the very chemicals that make you feel motivated, happy, and alive. So now your body is not just emotionally drained, it's chemically drained. Your muscles feel heavy not because you exercise too much, but because your hormonal environment is telling every cell in your body to conserve energy, to prepare for a threat that never actually arrives, but never goes away either. And then there's the evolutionary layer, which might be the most unsettling of all. Humans evolved in tribes. For hundreds of thousands of years, being alone literally meant death. If you were separated from your group, you had no protection from predators, no help gathering food, no warmth at night. The brain developed loneliness not as a feeling but as a survival alarm. It was supposed to hurt. It was supposed to make your body slow down, become cautious, pull inward, because in the ancient world, being alone and reckless would get you killed. Your body's response to loneliness is not a flaw, it's a fossil. A biological program written for a world that no longer exists, but your nervous system never got the update. Now here's where things get truly counterintuitive. You would assume that the health impact of loneliness is subtle, maybe a little extra stress, some trouble sleeping, nothing dramatic. But a meta-analysis published in 2015 by Julianne Holt-Lundstad and her team at Brigham Young University examined over 300,000 participants across 148 studies. What they found sounds almost impossible. Chronic loneliness increases your risk of early death by 26%. That's roughly equivalent to the risk associated with smoking 15 cigarettes a day. Let that land for a second. Feeling persistently disconnected from other people carries a mortality risk comparable to a well-known, heavily researched physical habit that we put warning labels on. But there's no warning label on loneliness, no public health campaign, no packaging that says prolonged isolation may seriously damage your health. And the mechanism behind it isn't just emotional despair. It's inflammation. Loneliness triggers a chronic, low-grade inflammatory response in the body. Steve Cole, a genomics researcher at UCLA, discovered that the genes of lonely individuals actually express differently. Their immune cells shift toward a pro-inflammatory state, producing more inflammation and fewer antiviral responses. In simple terms, your body starts fighting a war on the wrong front. It gears up for bacterial infection, the kind of wound you might get in a physical attack, while lowering its defense against viruses, the kind of threat that matters most in modern life. Your biology is preparing for a saber-toothed tiger that will never come while leaving the door wide open for illnesses that will. And by the way, I want to take just a quick moment here. I know this voice sounds like AI, and yes, the narration is generated, but behind this channel, there's a real person. My name is Fernando, and I'm genuinely grateful you're here, spending your time watching this. I hope you are eternally blessed, truly. Now let's get back to what your body is doing when no one's watching. This inflammatory response doesn't just sit quietly in the background. It actively erodes your cardiovascular system, your gut health, your cognitive function. Researchers at Ohio State University found that lonelier individuals showed higher levels of C-reactive protein, a key marker of systemic inflammation, and this was independent of other risk factors like obesity, smoking, or lack of exercise. Loneliness was doing this on its own. The body was inflaming itself not because of any external pathogen, but because the social environment was telling the brain it was under siege. And here's the part that's hardest to accept. You might not even know you're lonely. Loneliness is not the same as being alone. You can be surrounded by people at work, come home to a partner, have hundreds of followers online, and still carry this biological signature of disconnection. Because what the brain is looking for isn't the presence of people. It's the presence of meaning, safety, the feeling that someone truly knows you, not just knows your name or your face, but knows you. When that signal is absent, the ancient alarm starts ringing, regardless of how many contacts you have in your phone. So what does this look like in your everyday life? It looks like waking up already exhausted. It looks like losing interest in things you used to love. It looks like brain fog in the middle of the afternoon that no amount of coffee can fix. It looks like getting sick more often, recovering more slowly, feeling older than your age. It looks like low motivation that you blame on yourself, calling it laziness or weakness, when it's actually your nervous system running a threat protocol that was designed for the savannah, not for a one-bedroom apartment in a modern city. Your body isn't broken, it's responding. The problem is that it's responding to a signal you didn't know it was receiving. But here's the other side of this equation, the part that actually carries hope. If your body can enter this shutdown mode because of perceived disconnection, it can also leave it. The same neuroplasticity that allows loneliness to reshape your brain also allows connection to reshape it back. Studies from Carnegie Mellon University have shown that even brief, meaningful social interactions can lower cortisol levels within minutes, not hours, minutes. A genuine conversation with someone who makes you feel seen, a moment of laughter that catches you off guard, even physical touch like a hug or a hand on your shoulder, these things send a direct counter-signal to the amygdala. They tell your brain, in a language older than words, that you are not alone, that the tribe still exists, that you are safe, and it doesn't have to be grand. It doesn't require a huge social circle or a romantic relationship. Research consistently shows that the quality of connection matters far more than the quantity. One honest friendship can do more for your biology than 1,000 shallow interactions on social media. One phone call where you actually say what you're feeling can shift your hormonal balance more than a week of positive affirmations. Your body isn't asking for popularity, it's asking for presence. This also means that the path out of shutdown mode isn't about forcing yourself to be more social or pretending you're fine. It starts with recognizing what's actually happening inside you. When you feel that heaviness, that fog, that strange collapse of motivation, instead of judging yourself, pause. Ask what your body might be reacting to. Ask when the last time was that you felt genuinely connected to another person, not just near them, but connected. Because there's a difference between proximity and presence. Your nervous system knows the difference even when your conscious mind doesn't. There are small, practical things that can begin to reverse this process. Reaching out to someone you trust, even with a short message, starts to shift the signal. Volunteering, joining a group activity, even sitting in a coffee shop and exchanging a few words with a stranger, these things aren't trivial. They're biological interventions. Every moment of genuine human connection sends a cascade of neurochemical signals that tell your body to stand down, to stop conserving, to start living again. Oxytocin rises, cortisol drops, inflammation begins to decrease, your immune system recalibrates, your sleep deepens, your energy returns, not all at once but steadily, like a system rebooting after a long emergency that's finally over. Now think back to that couch, Saturday night, screen dark, TV murmuring in the background. That heaviness in your chest. That wasn't weakness. That wasn't laziness. That was your body doing exactly what it was built to do when it senses that something essential is missing. It was slowing you down, pulling you inward, turning down every system it could in order to protect you from a threat it was never designed to face alone. You weren't failing. You were surviving. And now that you understand the signal, you can do something far more powerful than just endure it. You can answer it. Because the truth is, your body has been listening to your life this whole time. Every unanswered message, every night spent scrolling instead of talking, every moment you convinced yourself you were fine being alone, your biology was taking notes, and it responded the only way it knew how. Not with words, with weight, with fatigue, with silence. But the moment you reach out, the moment you let someone in, even a little, your body listens to that too, and it begins to wake up. If this changed the way you see what you've been feeling, leave a comment and tell me. I read every single one. Hit the like button if you want more videos like this, and subscribe so you don't miss what's coming next. Because in the next video, we're going to talk about something even more hidden, a silent pattern. Your brain runs every time you're about to succeed. That makes you sabotage yourself without ever realizing it. You won't want to miss that one.